Fuck this movie. Fuck this fucking movie. Oh, hey now. What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I'm here doing my 31 days of horror movie reviews. And this film is pretty random, I'll admit that, but Amityville: The Awakening is, I guess, now a 2017 film, even though it was shot back in 2014. It has been sitting on the shelf for years, and they just now dumped it out for free out there on the web for us to watch. It is directed by Frank Calhoun. Yeah, a big buffoon this guy was. Holy fuck. The plot of this movie is we see Bella Thorne, who plays Belle, her and her family, her mother, her little sister, and her brother, who's in a coma. He's been in a coma for 2 years. They move into the old Amityville house from over 40 years ago, the infamous house now where Ronnie DeFeo shot and killed his whole family, later claimed that he was possessed. Well, they're living in that house, and slowly but surely she starts to see some weird hauntings and just weird things going on in the house. A lot of them involving her brother, who's in a coma. He's somehow up and moving around. He's talking and saying weird things, and she finds out that he's possessed now. This piece of shit. Like, honestly, this film was terrible, but what a surprise! What more was I thinking? Like, I remember first seeing and hearing about this movie like 2 years ago. I remember seeing the trailer for it. I remember even once seeing a commercial on TV for it saying it was coming out in like a couple months. And then all of a sudden it got pulled. And it kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed until finally they didn't even bother putting it in theaters. I mean, I think they put it in like limited release in some places. But they just dumped it on Google Play for free. For just anyone. They're basically saying, hey, if you guys want to watch this fucking shit, be our guest. But they don't even have confidence in this fucktard. And I've seen horror movies that are absolute shit and they still put them in theaters. Because they're thinking maybe we can make money off of this. They weren't even confident about this one. Why? Well, for so many reasons. First of all, it's not directed well at all. I'm sorry, buffoon or whatever your name is. It's not directed well. It's directed so half-ass, generic, that there's nothing even stylized or anything creative about it in that way. Bella Thorne, she's one of those actresses who's been slowly building her name up, and I know some people probably love her and think she's great. I didn't really have much of an opinion on her. Seeing her in this movie as the pseudo-goth, not popular girl and the one who gets picked on and yada yada, the typical type of loner girl, was funny because she didn't look like a loner girl. She was still good looking. She still looked like one of the popular girls, or she could have been popular. Like I remember in that movie, The Duff, where she looked the same exact way that she did in this movie. That movie she was popular, this movie she wasn't. Why? Because the script and the story dictated it that way. Because there's no other reason why people aren't flocking to be this girl's friend or trying to ask her out. There's no other reason besides the fact that that's what the plot wants. And look, she's doing the best that she can. She's not bad in the movie. There are moments where I'm like, oh, poor you, Bella Thorne. You're trying. You are trying so hard. But this material is straight garbage. It's so bad. Some of this dialogue in the beginning of the movie where she's just overly complaining and being unlikable. Her brother in the movie, who's in the coma, he's been in the coma for 2 years, is played by Cameron Monaghan, who, that name may sound familiar because he plays Jerome, aka the Joker on Gotham. So seeing him here, I was actually looking forward to seeing what he would do with this, playing like a possessed person. But he spends so much of the movie in the coma, in bed, not moving or talking, just opening his eyes and looking around. And he doesn't say anything or do anything until the last like 10 minutes. It's so dumb. It's such a waste of this actor who I know isn't really a big name yet, but I think he'll get there. He's talented enough. I've seen him be really good in other things, and it's just wow. Just wow. Speaking of the rest of the cast, we have Jennifer Jason Leigh as the mother. Talk about a waste. This is somebody who just recently was nominated for a Quentin Tarantino movie. She's been around for so long, and here she just plays the dumb mom who doesn't believe the daughter, who doesn't know what the fuck is going on, or when you find out she does know what's going on, she doesn't care. She doesn't care that the son's being possessed. She's just glad that he's moving and up and walking around, and you're like, you dumb bitch. Their aunt, who shows up to the house every once in a while, is played by Jennifer Morrison, who you might know from Once Upon a Time and a few other things. She is here for like 2 or 3 scenes, and that's it. It's almost like they went to her and said, hey, you want to shoot this movie for like a weekend? If that? Sure, I'm not doing anything. Here's a few $100 and be on your way. That's her role. Kurtwood Smith, who you might recognize from That 70s Show. Yeah, he's the doctor here for like 2 scenes. They redo the scene with the bees because that's what you have to do, right? Or the flies. You have to shove them in his mouth. This movie is not scary at all. The imagery that they try to shove in your face and the jump scares are so lazy and pathetic. At least when lesser horror movies have jump scares and they're not scary, at least they may be creepy, or at least they may make you jump. Some people, this isn't even anywhere close to that. This is just the laziest, honestly, the laziest jump scares I've ever seen. And they're few and far between. This whole movie's just boring. And that's the biggest crime and sin. It's boring. I'd rather a dumb, horribly written, horribly acted horror movie, because at least I could laugh at it or poke fun at it. This was just dull and boring. Terrence, he's played by Thomas Maine. I looked familiar because he was in Project X. He's this kid at school who has a thing for Belle, I guess, and this is like the smartest thing this movie did. They didn't do anything with it, but he knows that she's living in the Amityville house. In fact, he goes up to her for the first time and says, it's not your fault. The hauntings aren't your fault. It's the house. By that point, the hauntings hasn't even happened yet. Like, he's coming to her about these hauntings, and it's like, dude, what are you talking about? She hasn't been haunted yet. Wait like another day or 2. Then they start to happen. So then she starts to talk to him. And he actually shows her the original movie. He has the DVD. He says, hey, let me show you this movie that was made on your house. This real life event, the Amityville Horror. And they sit down and watch the movie. And that was actually interesting. That was a meta thing. And he even says, hey, let's watch this for clues. And maybe we can help figure this stuff out through the movie. But once you get towards the end of the film, she didn't use any of that. She didn't use anything from watching the movie. It was sad. I urge you not to see it. Even if it's free, even if you're bored, even if you don't have anything to do, that is better than watching this fucked hard of a film. Fuck you. This piece of shit. So guys, let me know in the comments below if for whatever reason you did see it. What did you think of it? Wow. This might make me actually sit down and review and rewatch the original Amityville Horror. It's been a while. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
These silent screams became a part of me. I'm moving past that. Please won't you free my soul? Can't hardly breathe in this society. I'm just a madman. Leave this real.